Hello and welcome to Demystifying Life, a yoga webinar little series I've put together. And today's session is brought to you by the letter C. And our main kind of topic is compassion. But I do also want to talk about companionship as well as compromise, I suppose, to a certain extent, while we go through a few stretches and yoga moves. And this one's going to be a little shorter session, maybe 20 minutes. We'll see how long it takes. And we're going to stick with standing. So I'm outside on my deck, beautiful sunshiny day. We're looking at about 15 degrees here at the end of April. And yeah, nice, get your vitamin D and fresh air. And my dog may or may not join in for part of it. Usually when I go down onto the mat, she will, but hence today's a standing one. So we're just going to get started in whatever's kind of comfortable for you, but feet just beyond shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed outward. And you can do some kind of shoulder opening if you wanted to just put your hands behind your back. And also just close your eyes if you can find that sunshine. And you can add some sway or rocking back and forth, whatever feels good. Sometimes we get into this yoga mindset that it has to be super still, and I just don't think that's always the case. Can it be? Sure, but that's not necessarily what has to happen every single time, every single move. So do what feels good for you. And that's, I think, part of the compassion part is being nice to yourself and kind, generous with desire, and not beating ourselves up all the time. We're usually our own biggest, worst enemies and critics, and it takes a toll on a person. So noticing where the tension lies in your body, scanning from your head to your toes. And this is just an acknowledge and aware component. And if you have any injuries or areas where you need to be a little more gentle and mindful of, that's important to put in the old memory bank here as to what matters for you and your body today. We're just going to go into some nice inhales as we take our arms over our head, reaching up towards that sky and sunshine. And exhale, release down, bending at the hips. Into a forward fold, let it all go, hang down, drop the head, chin tucking towards your chest. Again, you can add some sway here or rocking back and forth or a combination. And honoring what feels good for you today. Keep breathing. Getting a little hamstring stretch here as we keep our legs as straight as we'd like. The straighter, the more stretch you're going to get as we are in this forward fold. You do not need to touch the ground in front of you or your toes, but if you do, fine. You can put your hands down on the ground. Like, you decide based on your ability to stretch here. And you just want to feel a little bit of stretch. And again, continue to do your breathing. That will help make your stretch more safe and doable for you. Sometimes we interlock our arms here and relax down. coming back into a halfway lift. So that's like an L-shaped 90-degree with your body to some extent. You decide your degree. We have no mirrors probably out here to look. Like, is it a flat back? I can't tell. It doesn't really matter. But you want to imagine if you had a stick, a straight stick, that it would hit your tailbone and your shoulders and neck and be able to, be flattish. And then from here, standing back up, inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, hands through heart to heart center. And from here, we're just going to take a moment. We're going to take our feet again, just beyond shoulder width apart, point those toes outward. And we're going to sink a little bit into a squat, sumo squat. If you want, you're going to be brave and you're going to get a little more inner thigh stretch by going all the way down to just putting the elbows between the knees. Trying again, have a straight spine that elevates the crown of your head upwards and makes you feel a little longer. You were helping me and then you weren't, puppers. So again, you should feel this on your inner thighs. See, I told you when I get lower, she's going to come in. You come up here. This is where the companionship part comes in for our session today, because if you have pets, pets and partners, they do love to be in your space, sharing energetic fields with you so they can get some love, treats. They just genuinely enjoy your time and company, whatever that may be. So, coming out of our squat, we're going to just shake it out here. Oh. And coming back to standing, we're going to go inhale, reach up again. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we're going to do a little bit of a balance component, which I just heard on the radio today, that it was saying your best health and well-being or most optimal wellness can be established or kind of understood through your balance, and that you should be able to balance about 30 seconds fairly well on each foot. So they were talking about putting on your socks. Could you do it while standing? So let's try some standing tree pose and put our balance not just to the test, but it's an endurance thing where we have to practice to get better. So even if you fall a bunch, you're going to come back to it. So coming again, hands to heart center, and eyes can stay open for the best balance. And then you're going to take your one leg you pick. You're going to point the knee outward, and you're going to bring your heel and base of your foot on that same leg. And you're going to pick what feels good. Is it just like barely off the ground? Can you put it just around your ankle, calf area? And find a spot to focus on. And you should feel a little bit, like say a breeze in your forest in this tree pose, that you want to feel a little unsteady. That means you're actually working yourself. If you're rock solid, then you're not pushing yourself. You can go a little bit higher. Be mindful not to put the foot directly on your knee. You can go above that though. Being mindful of what feels good for you, but also the more material you have, the slippery things can get. So it's not necessarily how high you can go. It's just feeling that little bit of unease. Another thing besides extending our leg up is maybe just closing your eyes, because once we lose that point of focus, you're actually going to probably notice a huge difference in your ability to balance as soon as you close those eyes. Again, if you tip on out and drop your foot down, that's fine. Come on back. You're going to notice that base foot that's holding you up right now, that's doing the balancing. It might get a little tense, sore, maybe even want to cramp up. Hopefully you can breathe through it. You can keep your hands at heart center or open them up into a full-on tree pose with branches swaying, helping you counterbalance. A few nice breaths here. Stick with it just a little longer. Again, don't be sad about falling out, because if you're not falling at all, then maybe you're not pushing yourself. Maybe you should be to the point where you're tipping a bit. It's okay to have that unease. Hopefully it's just you doing this and you're not having to record it and put it on YouTube or anything. Anyways, we're going to come out of that, shake it out, stretch it out a little bit through our feet. Maybe while we're at it, interlock our hands, reach overhead, we'll stretch each side to side. Release down, take a moment here. And when you're ready, again, we're going to inhale and reach up. Exhale, bring our hands down to heart center. We're going to take our tree pose to the opposite side. Again, pointing our knee out and toe, and slowly making our way to having our bases of our foot come up our leg. Maybe it stays on the ground. Maybe that's enough for you and you're feeling it. But there are options for you. Again, being mindful not to put direct pressure on your knee. And taking a few moments to see how you're feeling, see how wobbly you are, and what adjustments you can add to make it just the right amount of sway. So again, options to close those eyes. You can extend your arms out, up, and they do not have to stay still. They actually can help you from not dropping your foot as often. Nice deep breaths here. Again, if you fall out or feeling it, just take a moment, regroup, and come back. And you don't have to have a whole routine, set up something extravagant. You could literally be doing this while you watch a show or while you're brushing your teeth. Like, have a task stacking where we take things that we already do quite habitually and we add things onto them. So like brushing your teeth and doing this would be super easy. So getting creative with how we intertwine this in our life is another C word. That creative thinking really can help you just live a better life for you and not just doing what somebody else has said. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Actually, there's probably billions of ways that we can actually do some things. So almost done here. Just a couple more deep breaths. And if you're falling a lot because you keep closing your eyes, stop closing your eyes. So I gotta tell myself right now, as nice as it is to take the sunshine in through my eyelids, it's just not helpful. And releasing that, again, walking, shaking it out, stretching those feet. And we're gonna roll our hips. Gate opener closers, hip open closers, whatever you want to call it. Both sides. Stretching our hip flexor a little bit. High T band. Great. From here, we're just going to let's go into just some lunges. So we're going to I'm starting center and just going to go from like a side to side, bending one knee, letting the knee track over the toes as I just go from side to side and feeling, again, that stretch in your inner thigh. Once, if you have some movement, we're going to pick a side and we're just going to kind of sit into it a little bit more. Again, make sure your toes are pointing out and that your knee is tracking over your toes. So you should be able to see your toes just beyond your kneecap. The other leg stays more or less straight, but it can be bent too. I feel like you get more of a workout if you keep the leg bent versus just locking it in a straight position. We can add our arms here too, extending, making one long line, taking our straight leg, reaching that same arm up. Other hand can just rest on your thigh, stretching through the torso. Just a couple nice breaths here. We're going to swing that arm down, and we're actually going to go with our hips stacked over our one bent leg so that we're actually in a forward lunge instead of the side lunge we were in. So the forward lunge. And from here, we're actually just going to lift our arms up. And you can keep them straight up in the air, or you can interlock them and give a little bit of a deeper chest back stretch. Bent back leg is bent slightly, and on your toes, you should still be able to see your front toes and that your knees tracking over most of them. Trying to get our knee stacked over that ankle, starting to feel it into the quads. Exhale, release the hands, coming back to our center where we were in our moving lunge from side to side. And you can add some movement, like a little shake it out before you switch sides. Going to the opposite side again. We're going to first be squared towards whatever our front is, and then we're going to lean in to a side lunge first. And again, this is a great time to take that straight legs, arm up and over. Nice full body stretch on the left side. My left, it could be your right. Thank goodness we don't have 3 appendages on the top and bottom. 3 legs, three arms. It might be a little more tricky to keep track of all the positions you're doing and covering all your bases. Reach a little further. Again, swing that arm down, shifting our hips and stacking them, and going to the full-on lunge where back knee bends and it's on our toes, and front knee is tracking towards being stacked on our ankle. From here, you don't have to reach your hands up. If you're over that, maybe you take your hands behind your back and sink into a little more of a chest opener while we lunge here. The more intense a pose, the more intense your breath should become. In like hopefully a good intensity. If you're overheating, definitely release more exhales out your mouth. If you're a little chilly, keep your mouth closed. Keep that heat inside your body. Just 2 more breaths here. And release, coming back to center. We're going to walk it back to center, standing, shaking it out, doing what feels good. So you can come to any position that feels good for you. I'm just standing and kind of rocking my hips from side to side, feeling loose. My feet are a little sore from some of the balance activities we're doing, but good kind of sore. I know I did something today, and even after my last session that I called gentler yoga, I definitely felt sore in my quads for a few days after, which was wild. So be interesting to see how I feel after this 20-minute little yoga session here of our little standing. And again, be creative, be kind and compassionate with yourself and others. Have the leanings in that you can do with companions, whether there are little furry friends or other pets or actual people partners. It's important to have some connection and also compromise and being able to, be able to do what you mostly want to do, but being able to also explore other alternatives. So I hope that can help you and offer you just, again, a little bit more of a living your best life. So to end our demystifying yoga session today, I'm just going to read a quote from my book here, which is Robin Sharma, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, book on daily inspiration. So today's daily inspirational thought on your destiny and life's purpose is one simple sentence. And it says, there are many paths to the mountaintop of peace. Blessings to you, and I hope you have a good day, week, month, till our next time when we're doing the letter D. So stay tuned for what that's going to bring.